This book has sold millions of copies and translated into dozens of languages. Why is that? Francine Rivers has written a goldmine of a book here. And if you open this book up, you can learn so much techniques about how she wrote this book that reaches in your heart and grabs a hold. Here are 3 things from Redeeming Love that will work in any genre. And number 1 is use your characters as vessels for spiritual themes. You want to let the scar tissue in the character speak louder than a sermon. The main character in this story is Angel and Michael. And Angel doesn't wake up quoting the book of Hosea. She wakes up flinching at every male shadow because her body carries the scars of what she's been through. Now, Francine Rivers keeps the camera lens or the book's focus really zoning in on that aspect so much until we can feel it. And it's only then do we get to see the grace that takes place. Even their names are echoes of spiritual themes. Now, Angel, that name in and of itself, it just speaks of, her potential for redemption. And Michael, like the archangel, it hints at the fact that he is a messenger of grace. Try this. Write your character's worst memory as a 5-sense blast, like the 5 senses. Try to resist the urge to preach a sermon or to explain the moral outright. For example, you can talk about the smell of the cheap whiskey or the sound and feel of the rusty old bed or the metallic taste of fear in her mouth. And just let the reader marinate in that ickiness so that when you give them the contrast of the redemption, it's like a bucket of clean water. And second is God's love through human relationships. So you can take a mortal love story and have it reflect back the divine love that comes from our Creator. So we have this relationship with Angel and Michael, and Michael doesn't forgive Angel once and everything's great. No, he forgives her. She runs from him. He goes and brings her back. He forgives her again. And eventually he actually gives her money and says, go ahead, leave. And I can picture this as a picture of God chasing after us, continually chasing after us, and how God must feel when we run from him. You can use this in your own writing. So draft a scene where your Grace character stays open after a betrayal, but sets boundaries that cost them dearly. This tension between open arms and scarred ribs really keeps the metaphor from being like cheap. The more the cost to the Grace character and the higher the price that the Grace character pays, the more the reader will be invested and the more the reader will feel it with your Grace character. The third thing is symbolism that earns its keep. What you want to do is you want to plant symbols, small symbols, within your book. And those symbols can bloom on rereads. And what this means is that the first time I read this book, I caught a lot of the symbols, but the second time I read it, I caught on to more of the symbolism and more of the hidden messages within the book because they were layered. And that's what you want. You want a story that has layers of symbolism. An example of this from Redeeming Love is Angel plants a barley field. And what's interesting is that in the book of Hosea, barley is one of the things that Hosea uses to buy back Gomer. And there's all kinds of little symbols within this book, and you can do that in your writing as well. To practice applying this in your own writing, grab a random object. Make it something that the main character, the protagonist, hates, and have it reappear 3 times, and each time layer in more deeper meanings within each appearance. For example, in the first scene, perhaps it's a teacup that is thrown in rage. And in the second time that teacup shows up, it's been glued together, but it still leaks and it's leaking all over the place. And maybe in the third scene, Maybe that teacup is used to serve tea to an enemy. The reader connects the dots, not the author, and there's zero sermon. And you can use this in your writing this week and drop a comment. If you used any of these, let us know because we'd love to chat with you in the comments. Redeeming love endures because Francine Rivers hands us these broken people and she shows us their messy road to redemption. It's ugly, it's messy, but it's also very relatable. Thanks for watching.